Hi, welcome to the November 2024 question and answer session, and let's dive straight into it. The first question is from Randy, and he wants to know, how does what we write in our e-commerce newsletter differ from what we write in our Selling on the Retailer's newsletter? Well, basically, it doesn't. But of course, you're not sending them to the retailer, you're sending them back to your store. So otherwise, it can be quite the same. You can copy and paste it, send one to your retailers with links to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Google Play, Apple, or whoever drafted digital, and the ones in e-commerce. Absolutely, under no circumstances ever send those customers to the retailers, because that is like a huge error. Send them to your store. So that's basically it. You can send the very same newsletter. It depends on your branding. If you've got a very chatty branding, be very chatty. If you've got a very formal branding, be very formal. But otherwise, it's exactly the same. You can copy and paste it, but with your links, you send someone to your store in your e-commerce newsletter. And for your retailer newsletter, you send them to the retailers, and that's basically it. The next question is also from Randy. And this time he wants to know if there's an easy way to move people from the retailer newsletter list to the Klaviyo e-commerce list. No, I'm afraid to say there isn't, but let me be very clear about this. You don't want to move them manually unless they move themselves. I've got videos on this. Never move anyone from your retailer list to your e-commerce list. You only want buyers on your e-commerce list. But say if you could say to your list, like when you've started your store, I have a store, blah, 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 hop across. People who do go across, then you remove them from your retailer list. And I think this is what Randy's asking. Is there an easy way? Well, basically, no, there's not. You have to sit there and manually do it. Some people have used Zapier with great success, and others have said it doesn't work for them. I manually do it. And you will find that after a year or two, it could even be a few months, that you won't have to do it as much. Just check for the day or two after you send out a list. If you see, when I send out my retailer newsletters, I don't even tell them about my store, because basically I've weeded out the people who are going to come to my store some time ago, and now the current ones are really dyed-in-the-wool retailer readers. So I just let them do their retailer thing, and I have my e-commerce list. So really, it's not the end of the world. Let your retailer list do its thing. When you send out a retailer newsletter, if you do mention your store, then for the next few days, say 2 or 3 days, go and look in Klaviyo, just copy and paste every email address of everyone who has signed up in the last few days since you sent out a campaign, and see if they're on both lists, and then remove them from the retailer list. Because, of course, you want people on your e-commerce list. You want to own the customer. You don't want to have them on 2 lists, obviously, so get them off your retailer list. Randy's third and final question is, how does he add people to the birthday collection? How does he collect birthdays in Klaviyo? Well, you do this in the pop-up, and it's quite simple. You go up the top of your pop-up form where you're collecting emails and SMS, and in the middle, you put in a profile collection. Now, you'll see a little plus tab up the top. You just click on that, and it'll bring you up 3 options. I think it's the middle one. It says profile info. Click on that, and that will collect their birthdays. So I always make a point of telling them, because everywhere but the US, we have day then month, but the US has month then day. And unless you only have customers that are in the US, they will usually, by mistake, because they're used to it, type in day then month. So I always make a point of saying, in brackets, if not in the US, enter it month, then day. So you have to think which is it, day, then month. So, and they will be thinking that too. And you don't want them to put it in the reverse order, because they'll be sitting on their birthday and they won't get the offer. Birthday flows and the 3 abandoned flows are usually the best money makers for many store owners. And a birthday flow is a collection that you shouldn't overlook, because people are typically very happy to get a discount on their birthday. So make it 10 or 15% depending on your margins and how you feel about it, and collect the birthdays there. And I also give them the code on that page, or you could give it on the page before. Actually, I give it on the page before, and I say, but don't go now over the page. You can enter your birthday to get a treat on your birthday. And always say on your birthday, I can't overstate this enough. We all have the context. Of course, we think, duh, it's so obvious they're going to get it on their birthday, but you need to spell everything out. You have to spell everything out to customers. So say you will get a treat on your birthday, and that is like a really good flow. And you can go into Klaviyo and you can set up coupons for exclusive coupons. You just enter the code in the birthday flow. This next question is from Reed, who wants to know how to draw visitors to the site when he sells erotica. And he says that isn't just optimized metadata. All righty, Reed, I'm thinking you don't know what SEO can really do for your store. It's not just optimized metadata. SEO is not simply optimized metadata. There's a lot to it. Now, if you have a Shopify free thing that will have structured data, Shopify has a lot in place to help you with SEO, but there are certain things you should do. And when authors come from the retailers, all they think of is Facebook ads, Facebook ads, Facebook ads. They completely neglect SEO. And it is a huge subject within itself. And it's not just optimized metadata. So, Reed, I urge you to go and look into SEO and make sure that's all fixed in your site. Now, it doesn't cost you a cent. SEO will not cost you a cent, and it will make you money, and it will bring you free traffic. Now, it won't happen overnight because, for example, the search engines like older sites. So if you open your store tomorrow or last week and expect SEO to work for you now, it's not going to happen. But it does work, and it will take a while. There are lots of things you could do. I also recommend Looks. I'll put the link below. I recommend Looks Review App because it has rich snippets. So when you have the reviews on your site, say you've got 4.5 stars on your book on your site, when you come up in a search engine, it will have the stars, it'll have 64 and it'll have the stars and the price of the book. But Google loves that for rich snippets. That will help your store. But that's one of the things you can do. There are plenty of ways to drive readers to your store if you mean like free, if you don't want to run, say, Facebook ads to your store. If you have an optimized YouTube channel, monetized, you can bring your products across. You can tag your products and they'll appear. So, for example, I have a monetized paranormal cozy mystery channel, and I drive a lot of traffic to my audiobooks from there. I don't have my audiobooks on any retailers at all. I only sell them through my store, and I have them free on YouTube, and I tag them, and I tag the paperbacks, the ebooks, the audiobooks and bundles all under my free audiobook on YouTube. And that does drive a lot of traffic to my store. So that's another thing you can do that's also free. Also, on the retailers, put a link to your store in the back matter. Of course, if you've got ebooks in KU, well, you can't link to your store. But if you're not in KU, that's a really good thing to do. Link to your store in the back matter of the next book in the series. And that also drives a lot of people to your store. And if you are in KU, you can drive them to the paperback. You say this is also available in paperback and drive them to your store. So they're just a few other things that you can do. But if you've got Klaviyo properly set up, I've got a video on this as well. People just think Facebook ads, Facebook ads, Facebook ads, as I said, but Facebook sales ads work in conjunction with a properly set up store and also with Klaviyo. So, for example, if someone lands on your store and they just have a look and then the phone rings or someone's banging on the door and they just go, their browse abandonment flow will pick up about 20% of people who are not subscribers. And then if they abandon their cart or their checkout, now abandoned cart is where they've added to cart but they haven't commenced checkout. Abandoned checkout is, as you would expect, where they've added to checkout, but they haven't completed the purchase. And there's quite a big difference in the two of them. One of them being the cart is harder to set up, and it does involve just adding some code and cookifying your email address and adding yourself as a subscriber, blah, blah, blah. But it's not straightforward like the other flow. So most people confuse them, and people who don't know what they're doing, who are trying to sell you Klaviyo setups, will typically leave out the abandoned cart because they don't know how to do it, or they'll call abandoned checkout abandoned cart. So there's a lot of confusion around the two. But having said that, you do need all three abandonment flows on your store and also the birthday flow, and Klaviyo will help you convert visitors But as you said, you want visitors in the first place. So it's either paid traffic or free traffic, and you get the free traffic through things like SEO, which does drive a lot of traffic. It won't happen overnight. And you do need to implement proper SEO on your store, but it will happen, and it doesn't cost you a cent. Now, the next question was inboxed to me, and the person wants to remain anonymous. So basically what the person says was, if they make $100,000 a year in their Shopify store, would they expect to spend $90,000 on Facebook ads? And my answer is hell no. OMG. No, 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 no. No. Now, if you were to do this, and that would mean that you didn't have any returning customers, and your Facebook ads would have been terrible. So in that scenario, if someone's spending 90% on Facebook ads, that means they have either have zero returning customers, or their Facebook ads have failed miserably and are very much running at a loss, because returning customers should be, say, 20 to 40% in the book business. People will say a profit's profit, but that would be a loss, and that would mean that either the Facebook ads were running at quite a considerable loss, or the store didn't have any returning customers. In that case, I would look at the Klaviyo setup. Obviously, if that were the case with the store, that Klaviyo was set up very badly, not set up at all. And also the store product pages are probably set up wrongly. Maybe the person's hired a developer to do the store. That's typically when you see that sort of thing. Someone's hired a developer to set up the store, and then they don't know how to set up Klaviyo. They would do it badly. But that should not happen, no. It just means all your systems are basically stuffed. Your systems are bad. You don't know how to do Klaviyo. Either you have zero returning customers, or your Facebook ads are an epic fail. And if that's the case, then why would you keep running ads? Oh my gosh, I would never advise spending that much, because that's not a profit. It'd be a loss on Facebook ads, because, as I said, in the book industry, the returning customer rate is usually 20 to 40%. So that means the person has had no returning customers. And even though Facebook sales ads are expensive to cold audiences, they're so much cheaper to re-engage and retarget the hot and the warm audiences. So there's absolutely zero reason. Maybe that person wasn't running Facebook ads to retarget and re-engage. The short answer is no, absolutely not. You would not spend anywhere near 90% of that. Would be a huge mistake. It would mean all systems were basically not working and stuffed. Now, they're the only questions I've had for this month. I haven't done the questions and answers for a while. So if you have any more questions, ask below, and ask as many questions as you like. I mean, the question number police won't come and get you if you ask more than 2. You can ask 10 if you want, and then I'll do another question and answer session for you. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I also have my whole audiobook for authors in e-commerce on this channel, completely free for you to listen to. Obviously, it's an audiobook, so go and listen to it now, and please like and subscribe. Okay, bye for now.